Oh, that sounds so glorious. Unfortunately, you guys get to hear it before I do because look at where we're at. That's the power of editing, is that I want to see that moment first too, but I don't get to because I have to do all the work to finishing this Corvette. So we got to put all this back together. We've got to put the whole rear back together. It's all in pieces. It's bolted in, but it's really not. So we're going to tighten all that up. We're gonna get some diff fluid, we're gonna get some oil, extra oil in there because we've got way more oil capacity, or if my younger brother was here, youngest brother, he'd be saying capacity of the oil system. But he says that word way too much. We're gonna get this all bolted back together and we are going to run the Corvette for the first time with the new gears, the new oil, the new fuel, everything. Let's get back to that point that you just saw. Hi, I just got all of this tightened up all by myself, both sides.
I should have saw it coming.
You knew where I was going with that.
I should have saw it coming.
So I'm gonna go send Jarrett right now to go get more gas, but we're gonna teach him a little lesson quick. First of all, I'm not gonna show you my cards because Jarrett films those.
Okay.
You know these, right?
Shop towels.
Okay, yeah, okay, good. You know the name.
I'm genuinely concerned about. I have no idea what's about to happen.
Here, man, have that.
Thanks.
There's some sweat on your face. Those are not to be used for face wipes.
Damn it, you scared the shit out of me.
This is the last shop towel. I was like, okay, I still got that one. I'll use it. I needed to clean something up, and he used it to wipe his face.
Fuck, you scared the shit out of me. I'm straight up walking to the gas station to get gas. I was a fucking dick. He's a dick for that one.
Well, there you go. There's the last of that. I put 2 quarts in here. Kind of random fact, I didn't realize that Royal Purple, I have no affiliation with them, is actually purple. I'm like, whoa! Somebody needs to know this! When I asked Jarrett to get 5 gallons of gas, Jarrett indubitably got me exactly 5 gallons of gas, no less. And as a result, we're sitting here with an unpourable can. So I decided we're going to utilize this thing to start our problems off a little bit better. I put some premix in there already, so don't you worry about premixing. We're gonna put a little bit of Royal Purple into our gas tank. Little known fact, I can do this all day. This is like the slowest fuel pump ever. We're literally doing all the last month of work to do what we're doing now by hand.
Oh, look at that.
That was actually fairly decent. Now we're putting all this together, and if you guys follow my Instagram, you'll obviously see that I welded these in, and it's not like the most insane thing, but when you just get a welder and can do this sort of work, where little pieces like this is the little nub that protects, vacuum leaks. This thing's like just ready to break into pieces. Listen, that's supposed to be rubber. That is supposed to be a rubber piece. Exciting stuff like that. That to me is hard work, and it pays off. So we're gonna go ahead and put this hose into one of these. I bought this hose when Jarrett was 4, little bitch. And we're gonna be using it. It's still more useful than Jarrett at the moment. I'm gonna make it this long because we're gonna be doing some pulling and pushing off of it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and slice it like butter. This is gonna go to the fuel pressure regulator, which did not exist before today. This one's gonna go to the ECU. Obviously, mini zip ties for everybody. We don't have a manifold gasket yet, but I'm not worried about that. There's the manifold pressure reference. This one goes to the brake booster, hilariously enough. That was a pain in the ass. And then the other 2 are the blow-off valve and, for the moment, the wastegate, which we will be setting up to a solenoid in a sec. Not this video. Look at these back on. If you guys have ever worked with these are just a pain in the ass. If the moon isn't lined up just right, there's no noise from semi-trucks around us.
Well, how does the moon affect this pipe going on?
Well, Mercury is in retrograde right now. Here's a trick I've learned that nobody taught me. I'm gonna hold it like that. You should let this push on evenly. What is good? I'm sure I'm not the only person to figure that out. Okay, look at this is is not on correctly yet. Jared, go ahead and cut to this on. I got that fitting on, and then we're moving straight into making sure all of these fittings are tight. And of course, again, I'm using the wrong type of tools, so I'm kind of choking up on them so that they don't damage anything. But we also have high pressure oil coming through here, so I'm taking this pretty serious. Loosening the bottom ones, verifying the ORB fittings are on the oil coolers properly. With all of those AN lines fit nice and clean, here's the last vacuum leak, which is the blow-off valve, which I've fixed in also an Instagram video. I had it backwards. It still works, but since fixed that, now we have no vacuum leaks. I checked the oil. Oil's full. It's not going to be full for long because all that's empty, and we have this whole gravity-fed, prevent it from emptying back into the tank or the can setup. So we're gonna go ahead and turn it over, get the oil cycling for a couple seconds, fuel system cycling. We haven't wired the fuel system. I'm literally just gonna put it onto the positive and just call it a day. Fire it up, let it sit for a couple seconds, turn it back off, check the oil. You ready?
No.
I just realized we need to test the fuel system because we've got the fuel system on here. We've had the fuel system connected, but we just added all that extra gas. So let's hear what it sounds like when we actually have gas in the vehicle. The car doesn't even need to be on for this. Get that air out. Oh, you can hear the other tank, the saddlebag tank thing. Is
that what that is?
That's the other side of the gas. That's the system that we're powering from the side. yeah, that's the whole extra setup of wiring that I showed you guys under there. That's the other tank feeding the main tank through like a little water turbo, basically. We lose pressure that way, but it's a necessary part for having a saddlebag tank. Before I show you guys my collection of hentai, I'm gonna bring up the ECU system, and here's why. There was a couple of discussions about oil pressure. How much oil pressure are we going to lose at the engine because of the elongated path through cooling? We will find out together. I'm curious, you're curious, Jared's bi-curious.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
It's not E85, but we'll say first new fuel pumps. That worked. That worked. Okay, let me do it one more time.
Okay, keep it in.
There we go. First run. Now, I think because of the throttle cable, I put it in wrong, or too tight. We'll see. But you can see fuel pressure right now. And mind you, fuel pressure is related to manifold, so you have to unplug it, whatever. But the good news is, differential fuel pressure. We're at 46 when it was doing that weird ass high level idle. That's great because I forgot to plug in my manifold temp sensor and my coolant sensor. Both those are just not plugged in. So the car has many reasons to freak out, and it still fires up. So my coolant temp sensor wasn't plugged in. My air temp sensor isn't plugged in. It's literally right here. Gotta plug that in. Oh, dude, I don't even have my throttle position sensor.
You didn't even have it plugged in?
Wow, I didn't even have the throttle. The throttle cable sensor wasn't even plugged in. Oops. And I grabbed the cable and I was like, that's weird, what's that? Wow, I'm impressed that the Adaptronic will fire the car up. Pretty impressive. He's not even plugged in. My bad, engine, I'm sorry. Okay, now let's see how high it idles. So when it fired up that second time, when I let it run for a little bit, we saw 77 PSI. That higher than normal idle. That's good, that's really good numbers. So we also have oil pressure, which is important. Okay, I'm gonna check the oil. So let's see just how much oil. Yeah, bone dry. There was so much oil consumed by the coolers that it was absolutely full before we started this. And you can see, like, there's nothing, you normally be just completely soaked. We have oil pressure, which is good, but our reservoir is empty. And that's what I want, because now we have more oil, which means more volume of oil, which means it can hold more fluid, which means it can more thermal mass. I didn't want it all dumping back into the can. We'll just skip through this. We're gonna put more oil into it. Okay, we're gonna log it again. Second new pumps, because now we have topped off the oil. We know we're getting oil pressure. Everything is good. Now that it has sensors working, because they're plugged in, let's see if we can get it idling for a little bit. I mean, it's idling. It's happy. We're not. Okay, I'm gonna need my manual fuel pump guy. Oops. Yeah, it's definitely this. Leave that on. That's a little low. Nice. Really nice. That's a little lower than we should idle it, but fuel pressure, we'll deal with that in a sec. I forgot to put the oil temp on. Numbers are all looking good. Oil pressure at idle is 60. That's really good. I'm so happy right now. So we're gonna fill it back up. We're gonna drain the, not drain. We're gonna go ahead and set up the brake lines because they're all empty. Get the brake lines all filled up, and then let's take it on a little rip.
Take it on a rip?
A little rip.
I'm down.
Okay. Quick side note, this is a technical issue for anybody with RX-7s. This is a side note, the light blue line is oil pressure. Obviously, as a car, the oil heats up, the car heats up, oil pressure drops slightly because it's thinner oil now, easier to push it through. Even then, we were at 55 pounds of oil pressure, and then this is me revving it, and look at how this RX-7 engine kicks right into gear. That's 80, back to 80 very quickly. So even with all three oil coolers in line, I have to say the Earl's setup is so high flowing, it's instantly responsive that we have beautiful oil pressure. This is bone dried, courtesy of us. Top this one off. We need to pop the caps in the back, and then somebody else needs to press brakes.
I wonder where we're gonna find someone to press the brakes.
I might call Abel. I don't trust anybody else. So we just did a speed course in bleeding brakes. I just opened this. Jarrett, go ahead and pump the brakes. Push the pedal in slowly. Yeah, that's the trick. Okay, stop. The trick is to capture it while it's slowly coming out, so that way you don't let air in. Oh my god. I don't even need, you're gonna surpass me. I'm gonna go do this on the other side now. It was a little difficult doing it all by myself, but I got the brakes. We did use almost a full can, but I've refilled it once, and we're just halfway, so we're within spec. That was good. That was nice and easy. Oh yeah, Jared, I believe in you. You got this.
Oh shit! I just know how to take out a jack stand.
I'm gonna use your own line here. Let's go! That's a moment.
That is way lower than I expected.
It's a sports car, dude. Wow. Never thought I'd see this day. It was so much quicker to swap engines. I'm gonna jump into it, we'll fire it up, and then Jared will jump in it with me if things are stable. So you guys get to watch from a distance, and you got to watch up close as we try the rear differential. Just letting it warm up.
One more. Oh my god. God.
Oh, that is glorious. That sounds so damn good. How did that sound for you?
Fucking good, dude.
Oh my god. First response. That gearing is still a little, the ultimate smallest amount of tall. Like longer in the gear, feels like an RX-7 though. It feels just way more nimble. It feels like, like the engine is like, yeah, I'm here, let's go, let's do it. And that blow-off valve, oh my god. I want to replay the video for myself because it sounded, oh, the Corvette's here. It is here, finally. Oh, there you go, guys. Now it's time to take it and dyno it on what is currently 91 octane and then E85.
EA in the game.
E85, it's in the RX-7 Corvette.